to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, eSIM Studios. Thank you for joining us today on a Monday afternoon, August the 27th, 2024. It's almost 4 p.m. Central Standard Time here in South Texas. And trying to avoid the heat. Did a couple more camera comparisons outside with the new Pixel 9 Pro XL. What an absolute joy of a device this is. Every day I wake up with a smile on my face, probably because I'm a nerd, and probably because I have the best phone ever made. Strong statement, but look, it's living up to that the more and more I use it. Just a fantastic device, fantastic design, fantastic cameras. Just really been enjoying my usage with this. Now, I'm excited to the Pixel 9 Pro, the smaller one. We ordered one. It's not going to get here, though, I think probably for another, what's today, the 27th? I don't know. I think I have to look at my delivery date, but probably going to be another couple weeks, so... been enjoying my usage with the 9 Pro. I got a bunch of cases that came in the mail today from Crave. Michael, my Crave rep, sent me a whole bunch of cases for the 9 Pro, and they're going to send me over some for the 9 Pro XL. And I got some others on the way, so got those on deck for reviews when the 9 Pro gets in, and I cannot wait for that device to get in, because having a exact device just like this Pixel 9 Pro XL, just a little smaller, sounds pretty good to me. Now, this isn't too big, or I'm not implying that the 9 Pro XL is too big by any means, but for so long, for so many years, we've been craving, no pun intended, craving for a small flagship from Google. And if I'm enjoying this Pro XL, the big one, this much, I think we're going to get just that much excitement, if not more, with a small flagship. Now, we have a couple of topics to get into, pixel-based and one non-pixel. But the first one is, I woke up this morning and I was getting some website work done, and scrolling through the news, and what do you know? I see Camera 9 Pro XL camera issues. I said, what? Camera issues? What camera issues? Well, I came across this article. Check this out. I came across this article here. Some Pixel 9 Pro XL owners are reporting a camera tilt issue. Have you noticed this issue with your Pixel 9? I have not. When I saw this article this morning, I immediately got my Pixel 9 Pro XL out, tried to duplicate this issue. I do not have it. Let's get into exactly what the issue is, because you might be wondering, well, do I have this same issue with mine? Well, it's time to find out. So an owner, now take this with a grain of salt. Whenever these things pop up, whenever somebody writes, now I didn't write an article on this because, long story short, let's just jump to the chase. I don't think it's much of an issue, but one owner out of how many hundreds of thousands of phones they just sold, one owner of the Pixel 9 Pro XL claims their phone has a camera tilt issue. The issue seems to appear when switching to the 5x telephoto lens. It appears a handful of other buyers are experiencing something similar. A handful, so 3 or 4, or 3 or 4 trolls, or 3 or 4 iPhone users that want to throw Pixel under the bus. Could be. Let's get into it. So, as you know, Pixel 9 series launched on August the 13th, with the 9 and 9 Pro XL hitting store shelves on August 22nd. So we've had them basically a little under a week. I think it'll be a week this Thursday. One Pixel 9 Pro owner, again, one, has now taken to Reddit to talk about the camera problem they're experiencing with their telephoto lens. According to a Reddit user, they noticed a disturbing tilt while recording a video. The user claims that they discovered the problem when attempting to switch from 2x to 5x. That user recorded a video of the defect, which you see below. So as you can tell, let's move this stupid ad out of the way. Damn it. So as you can tell, he's on a 1 degree incline, but what he's doing is it appears he does not have the glitch. I have the glitch. Now, I thought that was the glitch was on all phones and I recorded it. When you switch, and this has been occurring on every Pixel I can remember, but I just started noticing it, I think, when I had the Pixel 3 series. So when you, Pixel 3 or Pixel 4, but when you switch to the 5x zoom on a video, there's a glitch where it's not a smooth transition, because what it's doing is it uses one camera for the 1x, or for the 0.6x, then the 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x. When you go to 5x, what it's doing is it's actually physically switching sensors. So it's moving one sensor from 1 to 4, or 0.6 to 4x, from 0.6x to 4.9x. It's using this sensor. Then when you switch to 5x, it uses this sensor. Now, that transition is not that smooth. There is a glitch that you can tell. It's a little less noticeable on this series, honestly, but it's still there. Now, his might not show up, and it appears to glitch more it appears to show up more. I notice it. It's more noticeable, I'll put it that way, when you're taking video of something far away. The closer something is, the less noticeable it is. So this checkered design that he's zooming in on might possibly be literally right in front of him, so that's why it doesn't glitch that much. But as you can tell, when he zooms in from 2x to 5x, remember, it's changing sensors. When you see he's zoomed in, the top of the checkers are even with the top of the display when he's on 2x. When he moves to 5x, it's tilted to the, I guess it would be tilted to the right a little bit. Let's double check. And anybody can you can do this right now if you have a Pixel. So let's go to video. Let's zoom. Actually, I do not have that issue. Now, bad news is it sucks if you have that issue. Good news is that it can and will be fixed. This appears to be a software issue. Now, I don't know for sure 100%, but I'm pretty sure it's a software issue, which can be easily fixed in next month's update. So if this does occur on your Pixel, have no fear. Don't freak out. Don't return the phone just because of this. Unless you want to. It's up to you. It's your phone. It's your money. But give Google the benefit of the doubt. Give them the October security patch. The September security patch should be out here in just a few days. So I'm sure they're aware of this. It's making the headlines. Give me a second. So give Google the benefit of the doubt. It is almost September. Security patch update will be here soon. So again, if this is happening to your Pixel, have no fear. Give them the benefit of the doubt. As I said, should be fixable in a software update. Again, this has been making headlines today, so I'm sure they're aware of it, right? They look at the headlines just like we do. They watch eSIM Studios podcast daily live stream just like we do, so they'll be aware of it. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to. Normally, if I saw this, I wouldn't think much of it, honestly. I know some Google employees in the Pixel department, and Google employees that are not in the Pixel department are subscribed to our YouTube channel. So after bringing this to the attention of you, it will be brought up I'm sure in a developers meeting of some sort, probably tomorrow morning. They'll talk about it, try to reproduce the effect, right, with all their Pixels in-house. And if they can produce it, it's better. It's easier to fix. If they cannot produce it, they may, double check, triple check the code that they've written for the camera app, and maybe make a few tweaks here and there. But it should be fixed. I would be surprised if this was still an issue a month from now, 2 months from now. So have no fear. They'll fix. Google's pretty good about fixing stuff like this. Looks like it's a software update. A software issue. So. Not a big deal. Okay. Not worried about that. I don't think you should either. So, what do you know? As soon as we get our Pixel 9 series devices, has everybody gotten theirs? I know there was a couple of people still waiting, and I believe delivery dates were this week, the latest for Pro XL devices, and I think the Pixel 9 Pro series starts shipping. I was on Google's website yesterday looking at shipping dates for the Pro, and I believe the earliest Pro was like September 11th. So that's here roughly in 2 weeks. So if you've ordered a Pro, I can only imagine ordering a Pro and that's it. One of the reasons why I got an XL model as well. There's no way I could just sit still and watch all this fun happening and me not be able to enjoy it. So it's part of the reason why I got an XL. But man, I bet if you're a Pro, if you order the Pro, I bet you cannot wait after hearing all this good stuff. I was scouring YouTube yesterday, the last couple days, and I don't watch a whole lot of other tech channels just because they're honestly kind of fake and phony. But the ones I did watch, everybody loves the Pixel, so I'm not alone. And did I unfairly criticize them before the launch? Maybe. But again, it's not the best gaming CPU. All right, I'll still hang my hat on that. But again, I don't game, so what do I care? It does everything I need it to do beautifully, wonderfully. And takes... this selfie camera is insane. Did y'all see that video I put out yesterday? Did y'all see the... I think it was the second clip. So I did the video boost daytime on the first clip, and then the very second clip, I did a front selfie camera 4K 30 frames per second video. Here's a tip. Please adjust your settings in the YouTube app for the very best quality, because if you're watching my video in 720p when I'm shooting in 4K, you're not doing your eyes justice. Make sure you got it in, what is it, 1440p or 2160p. Make sure you set the settings all the way up. God, is it a beautiful selfie camera. My God. Probably the best I've ever used, honestly. Ever. Insane. Now, as soon as, getting back to my original point, as soon as we got the Pixel launch, sometimes I kind of veer off. I got to pull myself back in. Pixel 9 launch, right? What, about a week, last week? As soon as we get Pixel 9 launches, everybody gets their phones, starting to get used to them, at least the XLs or the 9s. Boom. Last night, was it last night? Yesterday. What do you know? Pixel 9a leaks. And it's very interesting because it doesn't typically, well, typically it has the same design language, right? So the Pixel 6a kind of looks like the 6, just smaller. Pixel 7a kind of looks like the 7, just a little smaller. Pixel 8a, what do you know? Who would have guessed it? Looks pretty similar to the Pixel 8 series, right? So anyone would think, well, shit, the Pixel 9a is probably going to look like a Pixel 9, right? Wrong. It does not look like the Pixel 9 series. We'll look at the picture here in a second. But I saw it and I was like, what the hell is that? I guess that's the 9a. I don't know. Let's take a look. So, maybe this popped up on your feed. Maybe it didn't. Now, similar in ways that the design language has a flat front, flat back, and flat sides, right? So it's got that squared off design. So in that way, it's similar, right? No more curved displays, hopefully for any more Pixel series. But the difference is when you turn it around, right? So check this out. So here we go. Here is the Pixel 9a. Here's the front. Love this design. Absolutely love it. At least the front. Now, it does have big bezels all the way around, but all A series have big bezels, right? Now, interesting part is, let's move around to the back side of this device, right? Check this out. Boom. What the hell is that? Now, that looks like, it looks familiar. Was that, I think that back design was used, actually like this. At first, after you know, the shock of it not looking anything like the previous A series, which would, as I said, looked like its older, bigger brother. It sort of wasn't the... Hang on, let's Google this. What did the Pixel... Okay, so that's 5A. There's 6A. Oops. There's 7A. I think it looks like the 7A minus the bar, right? I think that's what they did. It looks like a 7A. They just took that camera bar off, and you just have the camera lens and the flash. But let's look at the 8A. Okay, well, I stand corrected. It looks like the... That's what they did. Come on, man. Really? So this is what they did. Damn it. So they took, you see the 8A right there? So the 9A is basically an 8A with that without a camera bar. So that piece of metal going across the back is gone, and they squared off the device. I think it looks cool. I like it. They should sell a ton of these. I'm assuming it's going to have the Tensor G4. Now, I don't know what sensors they're going to put in there. early on, the A series Pixel, they've kind of shuffled around different sensors. So I'm not even going to guess and say what sensors this is going to have in it, but whatever it is, it's going to take good photos. You know that. But the design is pretty interesting, right? So there it is again. Pixel 9a. Squared back, flat back, flat front, squared off edges, right angles. It kind of looks like an iPhone SE. Not really. If it was squared off. Interesting design though, but no. Now, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes on this release date. Because from the Pixel roadmap that we had discussed a few months ago, there's at some point here in the future, they're supposed to merge the A series with the launch of their flagship series. So at some point in the future, they're going to merge. So like, just for example, so when this Pixel 9 series was launched, let's just say they merged the A series with their flagship series. So they were last Thursday, they would have launched the Pixel 9a, the Pixel 9, Pixel 9 Pro, Pixel 9 Pro XL, Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Would have had what, 5 devices? So I think they're going to merge it on the Pixel 10 series. Again, next year is a huge year for Google. Probably the most important launch of Pixel's early life cycle will be the Pixel 10 series. So I think they're going to merge it with the 10. So the A will be launched with the 10, 10 Pro, 10 Pro XL, 10 Pro Fold. I believe so. No word on that yet, but I believe that's what they're going to do. Again, at some point, they have them merging this A series with the flagship series, because to me, the numbering system is off. Why release this 6 months later in between your flagship life cycle? It just doesn't make sense. And unless they change something in the roadmap, they will merge it in the future. Now, I'm hoping it'll be in the Pixel 10 series, because that's when the Pixel line, as I mentioned, is really supposed to take off. That's when all bets are in, pushing in all the chips to the middle of the table on this Pixel device, Pixel series. That's when their new TSMC built own real custom CPU will be launched along or inside the Pixel 10 series. So we'll just have to wait and see. Very interesting surprise, but it looks beautiful. I like it. I like the squared off design. I like the squared front and back. It just looks nice, right? Looks very, very nice. All right, now look over here to the left. You see where it says top 10 daily interest? I like GSM Arena for many reasons, but one reason is I like to go over here and they put the phones that rank the highest that day. That was a daily interest. So on here, the phones that have gotten either searched for or articles clicked on, they rank them here on the left. Look at this. Look what's number one. iPhone 16 Pro Max today has already got 43,000 hits. And you got the Samsung Galaxy A series. The A is their highest selling device. I get it, right? A lot of people worldwide. It's a cheap, or I shouldn't say cheap. It's an affordable, decent device. I would never use one, but I get it. And then, of course, you get the Pixels, the new launched Pixel 9 Pro and Pixel 9 Pro XL. Now, I say this because iPhone being number one. Now, I reported Friday or Saturday, maybe it's this weekend, that the iPhone launch was going to be on September 10th. I was wrong. It's going to be September 9th. Now, that's when Apple's going to release their iPhone 16 Pro Max. Now, shame on me. Yes, I can. I'll be ridiculed. I'm going to get but it's for the greater good of this channel. I am going to get an iPhone 16 Pro, not the Pro Max, way too big. I need an iPhone 16 Pro to really do some really good comparisons, not only with the cameras, but software-wise, app-wise. I'm going to need to bring in an Apple device. Yeah, I'll probably shit on it quite a bit, but it's for the good. It's for the good of the channel, right? Now, September 9th is not the only launch day for iPhone. It appears that Apple is going to launch the iPad Mini 7 alongside the iPhone 16 series. So you're going to get the iPhone 16, iPhone 16 Pro, iPhone 16 Plus, iPhone 16 Pro Max, and the iPad Mini 7. I think this is their most popular. I don't know. I haven't looked at the numbers, but I do know the Mini is a very, very popular iPad. It's been a few years. I keep on stopping myself because I don't want to say the wrong thing. When was the iPad Mini 6 release? September 24th, 2021. It's been 3 years since they've launched the iPad Mini 6. So it is long overdue for an upgrade. And it looks like we're getting word that's what they're doing. And that's good, right? For Apple, for iPad users. Now, I did use an iPad Mini 6 for a few months. And then I pulled my hair out and sold it because I hate iOS. But I did have one. I like the size. I like the design. But again, iOS I cannot stand. But let's see what else they're going to include with this iPad Mini 7. So, Mark Gurman, who is an Apple insider, quote unquote, works for Forbes, I believe. So journalist Mark Gurman claimed on Twitter that many Apple stores are running low on current stocks of iPad minis. Now, Apple ceased production of iPad Mini 6 maybe 3 months ago. And whenever you see a manufacturer, a company stopping production of a unit of a certain SKU, that means they're basically not going to restock any more shelves. They're going to eventually let all of those sell out. And then but when they dwindle down to maybe, who knows, 100,000 units left, maybe when they stopped producing the iPad Mini 6 a few months ago, they had 3 or 4 million in stock worldwide. Now, when you see the sales and the projections, you try to time it just right for when it gets to zero. Obviously, you want to do it right before, but somewhere right around there, you're going to replenish it with a new model and just sell a ton more. It looks like that's basically what has taken place over these last few months. Let's see here. Let's see his tweet. Many Apple stores are low on stock on iPad Mini in several configurations, while the device is considered constrained, quote-unquote, internally with Apple. That could be a sign a new one is coming. It hasn't been updated since 2021. Wouldn't be surprised to see it updated for AI. Now, if that's the case, and I know, Apple AI or Apple Intelligence requires a powerful CPU and a lot of RAM. So, one would think if they're going to equip this with Apple AI, it would get, obviously, a powerful CPU. There are no... they've been doing that with a lot of their devices, right? Apple doesn't cut the corner when it comes to CPU. They always put their latest and greatest and most powerful CPUs in basically all their devices. Now, one question... So I'm not questioning that. I'm sure they're going to put their latest and greatest... but the RAM, right? So it's going to have at least 8 gigs of RAM, which is a big upgrade because I believe the iPad Mini 6 only had 4. Let's see. It should have at least, so there's not much information there, but if you think about it, if it's going to use Apple AI, it's going to have the latest Bionic CPU, and it's going to have at least 8 gigs of RAM. Probably going to have just 8. It's on the cheaper side, cost-wise, not quality-wise, but cost-wise. So I don't think they're going to put any more than 8 gigs of RAM. Their Pro Max has 8 gigs. Their Pros have 8 gigs and running Apple Intelligence. So they'll equip this with 8 gigs of RAM, and they will equip it with the latest CPU. Starting price probably going to be, I don't know, $500, something like that, $600. But just be on the lookout for that. Maybe you could be an Android user, and then maybe you don't like Samsung, maybe you don't like OnePlus, so you don't really have an Android tablet in mind, but you want a tablet experience. I know a few people that have an Android phone and an iPad. I don't really, understand it, but it is what it is, right? Shit, I told y'all I did that for a few months just to try it out. So the difference between the two is just too much. Like it'd be like me using this Pixel 9 Pro and then having a MacBook. Like, no. And it's a shame that we're at this point. Like you would think an iPhone user, right, could use a Windows computer and be perfectly fine. You would think me or you could have an S23 Ultra or a Pixel 9 Pro and use a MacBook and be totally fine. But it's the complete opposite. File transfers are a pain in the ass, almost I shouldn't say non-existent. Pain in the ass, but compatibility is almost non-existent, and that's what I was getting to, right? So the compatibility, you can always download apps that can file transfer, but what if you want to plug in one to the other? If you want to plug in an iPhone to a Windows, you can do that. You got to jump over some hurdles here and there, but look, Windows has kind of opened the door to collect as many iPhone or iOS users as possible, right? It's the opposite when it comes to Apple. Apple seemingly tries to block anyone and everyone that's using an Android phone for using a MacBook, right? I've heard stories, read articles where, and I haven't tested it, never had a MacBook, but file transfer between the two is like, let's say you plug in your Pixel 9 Pro into a MacBook Air, it sometimes won't even recognize the device, and they do that on purpose. Don't get it twisted. This is done intentionally by Apple. So one of the many reasons why I hate Apple. We'll get to that later, though. I'm buying an iPhone 16 Pro. I'm going to do it from a competitor standpoint because Samsung, Google, they buy iPhones, throw them in the boardroom meeting, throw it on the table and say, okay, let's see what our competitors got. Well, I'm basically going to do the same. So, let's see here. I got one last thing, no? Oh, yes. How could I forget? Before we get out of here. Be aware. So, today, we got 2 news items on, of all things, the new Pixel 9 series bootloader. Kind of weird news day. But first news that's noteworthy for the bootloader is Graphene OS is now available. That was fast for Pixel 9 series. So if you want to download and install and use the most secure operating system, look, there may be 1 or 2 others that are right up there, but Graphene OS is typically widely known as the most secure operating system to use on any cell phone. It's a de-Googled Pixel. So it's a custom ROM, and they basically take off all the Google apps and carrier services and Google services running in the background. Got that news today. I said, wow, that was really, really fast. And then a few minutes later, I saw unlocking the Pixel 9 bootloader breaks Pixel AI apps. I thought, Now, if you install Graphene OS, you have to unlock the bootloader, right? Because what you have to do, the bootloader is basically like it's kind of hard. Well, it's not really hard to explain, but in layman's terms, it's like a seat belt, I guess, for the operating system, right? So yeah, it's like a internal lock on the operating system, like a seat belt that has to stay locked at all times, right? And if it's unlocked, you're unsafe. Now, to install Graphene OS, you have to unlock the bootloader. But when you install Graphene OS, you go back behind once you're done installing Graphene OS and you lock the bootloader to make it secure again. Put that seatbelt back on the operating system so no other outside entities can penetrate your operating system. Just keeps it nice and safe. But that's not the big news. The big news is this. If you root your phones, which I don't know who would... Well, I'll tell you... Look, I used to be a flashaholic. I used to flash like a new ROM every day. Back when I had Nexus. Back when I had LG phones. Back when I had Motorola phones. Every day, new ROM. I go on XDA every morning and say, oh, did they update this one? Oh, what features? Oh, wow, this is the beta build. And just download it. Boom, flash it. So, rooting used to be a big, big deal. And it would have a bunch of benefits because it would add features to your device, a custom ROM, that these manufacturers would not put on your phone, like a hotspot, or you could crack a hotspot feature and actually get free, just all sorts of stuff, flash kernels, and get these cool features that these manufacturers were not putting on these phones. Now, you basically have these manufacturers, they've basically, over the last 3, 4, 5 years, have wiped out the custom ROM world. Because they're putting all these features that we wanted with a custom ROM, all these companies have baked that into the normal operating system now. So why root your phone, right? Plus the banking apps don't work anymore. They slowly but surely been pushing out the custom ROM users. Now you see, if you unlock your bootloader, it will break Pixel AI. So if you don't use all this AI stuff, and look, I'm not a heavy user. I use it a little bit. I use a couple things here and there. Not, I wouldn't say on a daily basis, but at very least every other day. I don't use the picture stuff, right? I don't use a lot of AI when that. I use AI when it comes to summaries. Summarize your YouTube videos. Summarize an article. Writing stuff, right? Content stuff, right? That's what I use it for. Now, could I live without it? Sure, right? There's apps, right, that can do that. So, yes, you'll lose Pixel AI functionality, but you can go download a third-party app that basically does the same thing. So it's up to you. Again, I don't know if there's any custom ROM users out there. I'm sure there's some. But that world has just been squashed in the past few years. Just some interesting news. I know that there might be some guys out there, or girls. So, AI weather report, call notes, Pixel Studio will not work. Is that all? What else? So, just be aware if you are planning on flashing, because sometimes you don't even have to flash a custom ROM. You can flash a custom kernel and keep the same ROM, whatever. But just be aware that if you do unlock the bootloader, it'll basically make the Pixel AI functionalities and apps non-existent, non-functional. So be on the lookout for that if you are interested in unlocking your bootloader and or flashing a ROM. That'll do it for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you very much. Daniel, Brian, Appreciate it. Brian, I'll get with you. I'll email you here shortly in regards to the case thing. I think I'm just going to send you an Amazon gift card to compensate for that. Anyways, I'll email you here shortly, Brian. I do appreciate it. But join me tomorrow. I got some more content. I'm gonna upload pre-recorded stuff. Got some more camera comparison testing to do, and got a lot of case reviews coming up, a whole lot. So if you're trying to narrow it down to a case or two, and we're gonna have case giveaways. How could I forget a giveaway? So when I reached out to these case companies last year, I just, reached out and said, we're going to review these. Cool. And then on the back end, I would have to reach back out. And they're busy, they're real busy, as I am too. But I would have to, ask, hey, is it okay if I give these away? Got to get permission, blah, 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 blah. And it was just wasting time. This year, not only did I ask for their full lineup of cases, I also asked, hey, can I give these away? Do I have your permission to give these away as well? And we got some good news. So if you have and I was going through my case collection, we're going to do more S24 case giveaways, Plus and Ultra. And I'm getting iPhone 16 Pro cases. So if you're an iPhone user out there, or you think you are going to be getting an iPhone 16 Pro, I have cases coming in for that. We're going to do case reviews for the iPhone 16 Pro as well. So stay tuned. We got lots of case reviews. We have lots of case giveaways. You're not going to want to miss that. I can promise you that. So appreciate the time, guys and girls. Take care. Have a safe afternoon. And see y'all tomorrow. Appreciate it. Peace. Thank you, Brian.